everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing and reviewing WandaVision episode 5. Just a warning, spoiler alert, because we'll be discussing what went on in the episode as we go through it and maybe talking about theories as well. So click away if you haven't seen it and come back, or pause the video and come back after you've seen the episode. So yeah, let's dive into it. Also, this episode was fire. So yeah, let's begin. So the episode starts off with the babies crying, the twins, and Wanda uses her powers to try to put them to sleep. And she tries like 2 or 3 times and it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Um, Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe not. Who knows? Vision then goes to get the binkies and he uses his phasing power and sticks it where his ear should be and comes back with it. Um, but they give it to the babies and the babies spit it out and hit them with it. So that's weird. We then have the scene with Vision and Wanda trying to figure out how to get babies to settle down. In doing so, there's a knock at the door and Agnes comes in. And it's convenient. And she's like, she heard the babies crying. And she comes in with her buns of steel. And her yoga clothes, and she does her little yoga thing, rocking the cribs, and whatnot. However, something happened right before this, and that was a form of maybe a fourth wall break within this reality Wanda created. Because before Agnes starts rocking the crib, Vision is being overprotective that he doesn't want her to, touch the babies. If she hand it, you're gonna actually see about her baby, blah blah blah. And there's a pause, and Agnes kind of looks at them. I was like, should I retake? Should I whatever? Like, you can make an error in a on like a TV show in essence. And Vision and Wanda go to the side and they're discussing this. But that is where we see Agnes basically doing her little yoga stuff with the babies while they're talking. So there's that. We then get the scene where we cut to the next side of the kitchen. We see Agnes looking for alcohol. And she's like, she's a good babysitter. It's not for her, it's for the kids. And they're like, okay. And then we pan around to the stairs and we see the kids sitting on the stairs. And on the stairs now, where they're sitting, they're aged up to around age 5. And I say age 5 because in the opening scene, opening intros with opening intro, can't speak today, that comes right after this. We see clips of A Happy Life for Wanda and Vision and the kids. And one of those is Wanda, Vision, and the kids blowing out candles on a cake. And there's the numbers 1 to 5 on it. And this 1 to 5 basically means the kids went from age 0 to 5 in the first few minutes of the show. So yeah, we basically know their age. Also, that opening is reference again to another show, but I can't remember this one this time. So if I do get the information, I will post it in the comments. So yeah, we then cut back outside to the sword base. We see that Monica is in the med bay. She's getting some tests done on her to see what went wrong. And in doing so, they do a CAT scan or X-ray on her, and it comes out blank or white. So that could be foreshadowing of something else. Maybe help. Spoiler, I done put spoiler earlier on, but spoiler. This could be maybe reference to her powers that she has or got, and they're keeping it secret for later on to show how it's revealed if that she does have her powers yet. But yeah, basically Jimmy Woo and Darcy comes to meet her. They bring her clothes and they tell her now after all of this that they have a meeting to go to. So they head to the little tent that they had everything set up for Darcy to monitor the TV. And in doing so, we see they have a little board and the meeting is going on. And in essence, what this meeting is it could be broken down into 2 parts. The first part being that Wanda is being portrayed as a bad guy by Tyler, director Tyler. And then the other side of this, where they are defending her, that being Jimmy Woo, Monica, and Darcy. So yeah, the meeting goes on, everyone mentions like where Wanda is born, Lagos, the incident with in Civil War where she used her powers to contain the explosion with crossbones, but blew it up in the sky, and it wrecked the building and killed people, and that she's from Sokovia, where Ultron destroyed, um, or tried to destroy the place. Um, so we get a little refresher, I guess. But in a sense, then at the end of the meeting, coming to the end, we get the backstory of what happened then before this, and that was that Sword had Vision's body after Endgame Infinity War, and when they had his body, they basically, I guess, were experimenting or using it to try to figure out how to make more or improve weapons, something they were doing with his body. But it was cut up into pieces because they bring up footage on the screen from the base, and in doing so, we see four cameras with Wanda breaking in and getting Vision's body and parts. Yeah, and so we don't know the whole reason for AIM, not AIM, maybe it is AIM, but the whole reason for Sword doing this, with Vision's body. But in essence, Wanda took it, and then this whole dome appeared after that. So we next cut to back inside of the dome now, and in doing so, we see that Wanda walks into the kitchen, and the boys have a dog, and they sing trying to beat him. Um, and she basically falls in love with the dog when she takes it up. Vision walks in, and he's like, "There's a new member to the family he didn't know about," and they discuss keeping the dog and whatnot. And then Vision mentions that he has this feeling that somebody's going to pop in with something that they need at this moment. So Agnes pops in with her doghouse, and she says that she saw it from her house. We still don't know where her house is exactly, but from what I could see later on in the episode, we'll get to that when we get to that, but we'll mention it later on. But basically, in doing so, Wanda uses her powers to make a dog collar, cause for the boys, and Vision and have a little mini dispute right there about her using her powers, and she's like, she's fed up of hiding. She doesn't want to hide anymore, and because this episode was a slow build to Vision coming to the realization of things, as well as Wanda speaking out against hiding. So yeah, we get that, and then the dog goes to electric thing and gets sparked, so they come up with the name of Sparky for the dog, basically. In essence, that's how the dog gets his name. And then cut back outside again, and we see in the sword base that that's outside Westview, that is, that Monica and Darcy are trying to figure out how to get in, and Monica realizes something. She realizes that the clothes that she wore, something was wrong with it or up with it, in a sense. And she goes back to the clothes. She takes Officer Wu's gun, and she shoots at the clothes like 3 times, and the bullets hit and fall off. And basically, what she realized was, she came to the realization that she came into this universe wearing a certain outfit, and it changed. And they decide that, well, not decide, but they figure out that the clothes itself isn't like being an illusion and changed, but the power of inside this fossil is it's warping reality in essence. So, like, she had on a bulletproof vest and all of that. So when she went in, her pants became bulletproof, her top became bulletproof. So the clothes that she had was warped, but it kept the same material, which was the Kevlar, in a sense. And using this, they come up with another idea to maybe send something in today that wouldn't change. So we'll get more of that as well. But then we cut back to inside, and we see that Vision is at work setting up the interwebs and the internet and emails and all of that. And he's helping his friend, the short little Indian guy with the side part. And they get an email, and he's reading it, and then the whole office starts to read it, and basically I believe it's from Sword, and it says something's up. Basically something's wrong, and it may be Wanda, and Um, Vision reads it, gets a bit creeped out, and then we see the short guy kind of starts breaking free of the mind control and speaking to Vision. He's telling him that it hurts, his head hurts. How long has he been in here? Where's his phone? He has a family. Something's wrong. Um, so yeah, Vision touches his temple with his hand, I think, and I'm not sure what he does there. If he kind of stabilizes him to back to being how it is, or tries to help with the pain. So yeah, um, we then jump back to home where the kids are, and we see Billy and Tommy are playing with the dog. They taught him tricks how to spin around, to sit, to talk, as in bark. And they're with Wanda, and they asked where their dad is, and she said that he went to work. There's a thing that what goes on here as well with the days, and she tells them it's one day, and they say no, it's Saturday. But basically, in a sense, she tells them that their dad, because they ask if their dad is avoiding them, and she says no, he had some stuff to do at work. And she explains that if she that both of them may have had a fight, and he just needs a bit of space. So yeah, and while doing this discussion, now we hear a noise outside. So Wanda goes outside, and we see that what the idea Monica came up with now was to send a drone in to the portal barrier, Westview, whatever you want to call it. They send it in there, and because it's from that time period, it wouldn't warp and change like the beekeeper suit or Monica's outfit or all those other things that went in. And when the drone gets locked on her, we see Tyler with his dastardly self say to shoot at Wanda, to take aim and fire. And Monica says no, and in a sense, it proves that Tyler is trying to like kill her or something to that effect because he can't control her. We then now cut a breach outside, and we see SWAT agents pull up to the barrier with their sword, just swords, that would be cool, but with their guns, and we see Wanda slowly walking out of the barrier now, dragging the drone, um, and it's going right because she had her powers on it, and then she throws it at their feet, and they turn their guns on her, and Tyler was like, "Oh, the missile was just a precaution, trying to save himself basically." Um, and Wanda basically wants them and tells them, stop trying to come into my world and take away what I have. I already have what I have, because they ask her what she wants. She's like, I already have what I need, so just stay out basically. And in doing so, she Monica steps up and is like, she trusts her because she let her deliver the babies. So yeah, I think there's more to that between Monica and Wanda later on. We'd get some more info on them and their true relationship. Maybe they had one after Endgame that we haven't seen yet. So yeah, um, Wanda then uses her power to take control of the minds of the guards. Because remember, in Age of Ultron, she was messing with the minds of the Avengers as well. So she does that, and she has all of them turn their guns on Thailand. She just leaves and goes back into the barrier. And in doing so, we see the extent of the barrier because she touches it and it goes red. And we see the red go up and spread on this side and this side. So we get a bigger view of how big actually this dome is, I guess. So yeah. Then again, it's not a dome. They said it was in a hexagonal shape. So that so there's one thing also. Darcy comes up with the idea that we should call Wanda's power hex because hexagonals. Um, I believe in the comics as well. Her magic is hex magic. Um, so that's basically reference to that in the comics. But I also believe, like I said in my previous review, that these hexagons are more so aim, but it's cool that they also use it to come up with a name for Wanda's power, which is the hex powers. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. So yeah, Wanda goes back in, and now while she was out, it seems the dog went missing. So the kids and Wanda pacing the street looking for the dog, and in doing so, they run into a mailman. The mailman now says, don't worry, you'll find the dog, cause nobody leaves here, basically, like what the doctor said before in episode 2. Is it 2? Is it 3? I believe it's 2 or 3. No, 3. In episode 3, where the doctor basically said he can't go on vacation and can't leave the town. Basically, the mailman re-emphasizes on this. But they come across now Agnes in the bushes. She comes out, the dog wrapped in a blanket, it seems, and she says that the dog got into her bushes and ate the leaves of the poisonous plant and died. It was too late. And in doing so, the boys look at each other and they are going to age themselves up. And Wanda stops them and was like, "You can't age past the pain," and gives them a motherly speech, basically. And there's also mention during this that maybe she could use her powers to bring the dog back to life. And that is maybe reference to two things in this episode where we see Vision was dead and she brought him back to life, so maybe she can do it with the dog, and then something else later in the episode, which I'll reference when we get there. So yeah, Vision then comes and he meets them and he hugs the kids because he finds out what's going on. But before we go on, again, so we see that Agnes is conveniently in the episode where things are needed or go wrong. So she popped up with the babies crying because she heard it. We don't know how she heard it. Then with the dog, that's what she saw. She said she saw them with the dog in the kitchen. Now, if we look at this part here where she has the dog wrapped up, we see that there's no way she could have saw into Wanda's house from where she is, because their houses seem very far apart from this. So it it's fishy. It's fishy. It's suspect. It's sketchy. It's whatever word you want. The Agnes always appears conveniently. So yeah, again, I think she's Agatha Harkness, and I think she may be the one controlling the people in here, or one of the persons, because of course, to take away from the episode for a bit, earlier this week I believe there was a poster released for upcoming episodes. For the upcoming episode, sorry, and in the poster there was a green wallpaper behind Wanda and Vision, and this side, or right here behind them on the wallpaper there's a face, and the face is Mephisto's face. So again, I think that he or Agnes are controlling the people in here and not wiping their memories, because they still have their memories, but more so causing them to live out this extra life in a sense. So yeah. Now back to the episode. So yeah, Vision and Wanda talk to the kids there, and then we jump to later on home, where basically Vision confronts Wanda about his friend at work and what he learned. And in doing so, they have a little argument. Wanda tries to basically end the fight by ending the episode, like in sitcoms, you know. And Vision tells her, "No, you're not doing this." And while we see the credits scrolling across the screen now, they walk into the living room and then it stops because Vision stops it, basically. And he's pissed. He's pissed. And they both get into their superhero poses up in the air, like they're going to fight. And Wanda kind of settles down, and then she tells Vision, you never talked to me like this before, and whatever. And Vision basically says he doesn't know what's going on. He's confused. He's scared. He doesn't know what happened, because I believe he doesn't know that he died. And all of this. So there's that. So yeah, he settles down now, and they both sit on the chair to speak. And he mentions that, they're in a neighborhood, there's a park, but he sees no kids. Why are Billy and Tommy the only kids? And he basically tells her that, why are you doing this? And she's like, she's not the one doing this in the aspect of controlling everyone. And she says, how you could think that I'm doing this? So that's more hint that someone else is pulling the strings behind this, because she also mentions that she doesn't know what's going on. She's just as confused as him. She doesn't know how it came about. So more hints that there's a bigger plot and a bigger bad guy behind all of this and what's going on. Then we hear a doorbell rings during their conversation. Vision assumes it's her. She says no, then the doorbell rings again, and she gets up to answer the door. In answering the door now, we see that Darcy as well as the outside world is watching. So when Wanda opens the door, we don't see the camera basically shows her face, and the same with the TV that Darcy is watching outside with the agents. And it's suspenseful. Then we get a zoom to the back of the person who's in the door, the back of their hair, and it's grey and black. And the camera then pans to the front, and we see who it is. It is Evan Peters. Y'all should know who this is. He is basically Quicksilver from the X-Men franchise when they rebooted it. So yeah, he is that Quicksilver, and now he's Quicksilver here. And when Darcy sees who it is, she's like, Pietro, did Wanda just recast Pietro, kinda like a fourth wall joke, but not really. So the episode basically ends with Wanda hugging him because he says like you can't let your brother hug you, and he calls Vision a popsicle, which is funny. So yeah, it ends with that. So we don't know anymore if it's from the multiverse or what. So we'll have to wait till the next episode to see. Also, this episode we got the ad again, and this time the ad was Lagos. I believe for the paper towels. I believe Lagos is where Wanda grew up in Sokovia, or it may be where the explosion took place with Crossbones that she tried to contain. Don't quote me on that. I'll get back to you all with the correct information in the comments. But yeah, so this episode had a lot of information in it. Not really much Easter eggs to stay, but there was a lot of things foreshadowed and mentioned. So now we have Quicksilver, we have Wanda's power being officially named as Hex powers like the comics. Vision's category of being was mentioned. He's not a cyborg. He's a synthezoid, just like the comics. So yeah, we have the little thing with Agnes showing up conveniently and why we'll see. We have the twins magically aging. We have Monica's X-ray showing the white inside. So more hints at what is to come for the comics. But really good episode. As I said before, it was fire. I don't know why I do spirit fingers, but fire. So yeah, feel free to if you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like, drop a sub. The sub button should be right there, or somewhere there. So yeah, like, sub, share, please share with your friends, share with anyone you know who watch the show. So yeah, leave a comment down below. We could discuss. If I missed anything, feel free to let me know. So yeah, have questions, you could follow me on the social medias in the description. Any suggestions, let me know. Again, thank you for watching. Leave a like again. Please drop a sub. We're close to 100 subs. Help me to get there. And yeah, I'll see you guys again for the next video. Next video should be One Piece on Sunday. So yeah, till then, I'm out.